Hi there. Today I want to talk about something I've been digging into recently, namely the SAP S/4HANA Migration Cockpit. If you're like me and have just started working with SAP S/4HANA, or if you're planning to migrate your business data from other systems, this tool is really something worth looking into. The Migration Cockpit is built right into SAP S/4HANA and SAP S/4HANA Cloud. You can find it under the Migrate Your Data app in the Fiori Launchpad, which they also call the Data Migration Launchpad. Apparently, before SAP S/4HANA 2021, people used to rely on transaction called LTMC for this, but that's been retired now. So why is this tool recommended by SAP? From what I've learned, it's because the migration cockpit really simplifies the process. It uses these things called migration objects to help identify and transfer data, and it comes with predefined content to make mapping and migrating data a lot easier. This is whether you're using SAP S/4HANA on-premise or in the cloud. Alright, so let's get into some of the key features I've come across. First off, you can create migration projects to manage and monitor your data migration. This is pretty handy because it keeps everything organized and helps you keep track of where you are in the process. Then you can select migration objects relevant to your scenario. These objects are like templates that help structure the data you're transferring. For example, if you're dealing with customer or material data, there's already a predefined migration object for that. One thing I found really useful is that the tool lets you process mapping tasks right here. So it basically helps you make sure your old data lines up with the new SAP S/4HANA structure. Before you actually move the data, you can also simulate the migration to see how it will go. This is great because it lets you catch any issues before they become a problem. Finally, you can monitor the migration process as it happens. This real-time feedback is super helpful because it basically lets you see what's going on and fix any issues on the fly. Now let's talk about why this tool might be worth your time. One big advantage is that it comes with pre-configured content and mapping for each migration object. So whether you're migrating bank data, customer information, or something else, there are templates and mappings ready to go, which saves a lot of time. Another benefit I've noticed is that the tool provides predefined template files and staging tables for each migration object. These templates are really useful for populating your data, whether you're working with spreadsheets or more complex data. What's also nice is that there's automated mapping between the templates and the target structure. This reduces the chance of making mistakes. This is always a good thing. Migration programs are automatically generated, so you don't need to worry about writing code. This is a big relief because it means you don't need to be a programming expert to use it. And just to add, this tool is included with your SAP S/4HANA and SAP S/4HANA Cloud licenses, so there is no extra cost involved to my knowledge, which, yes, this is a bonus. So when it comes to actually using the migration cockpit, there are two main approaches. The first approach is migrate data using staging tables. From what I've seen, this method seems to be pretty flexible. There's a new Fiori UI that makes it really user-friendly. One thing that caught my eye is how the file migration approach is now part of this staging tables method. You can use the template files they provide to fill the staging tables with your data, or you can use tools like SAP Data Services if you prefer. The migration cockpit sets up these staging tables for the relevant migration objects. Then it moves the data from the tables to your SAP S/4HANA system. Some of the benefits here include a better user experience, the ability to track the status of your migration in real time, the option to download and upload mapping values as needed. You can even process multiple objects at the same time, which sounds pretty efficient. The second approach is migrate data directly from SAP systems, which came out with SAP S/4HANA 909. This one is only for on-premise systems though. It allows you to transfer data directly from your existing SAP system to SAP S/4HANA, but it's not something you can use if you're on the cloud version. Another thing you will need to actually use this tool is the required roles. For SAP S/4HANA on-premise, you'll need the MCMC user role. This is what gives you the basic permissions to work with the migration cockpit. Then for the front-end server, there's the config expert data mig role. This one's important for handling configuration and data migration tasks. If you need to get into more technical stuff like using the migration object modeler with transaction LTMOM, you'll need to use the role DMCMC developer role. This seems to be more for developers who might be customizing migration objects. For SAP S/4HANA Cloud, you'll still need the config expert data migration role. This covers most of the migration tasks that you will be doing in the cloud environment. One thing to keep in mind, whether you're on premise or in the cloud, you'll also need the specific role for each migration object. For instance, if you're migrating bank data, you'll need the BR Cache Manager role. It's kind of like making sure the right person has the right access for the data they're working with. To wrap things up, the SAP S/4HANA Migration Cockpit seems like a really solid tool for moving your business data to SAP S/4HANA or to S/4HANA Cloud. It's packed with predefined content and templates. The process is automated enough. Um, you don't need to be a programming expert to get it done. Whether you go for the staging tables approach or direct migration from SAP systems, it looks like the migration cockpit gives you the flexibility and the control you need to make sure everything goes smoothly. With the right roles in place, you can manage and monitor your entire migration project with ease. Thanks for sticking with me through this overview. I hope you found it interesting and useful as I did. If you're getting ready to start your own migration project, feel free to reach out. Let's make our transitions to SAP S/4HANA as smooth as possible. Goodbye.